Hey everybody, welcome to Love and Reload, the voice of the the voice of the relocation industry. I'm your host, Ben Cross. I'm so blessed and honored to be here with Haseena Enu, partner from Fragomen here in Dallas. Hey Haseena, how you doing?
Good afternoon, Ben. I'm so honored to be here.
It's great having you here in our office, and I'm excited to have you and get in the comments, y'all. Let us know who you are, where you are, check in with us. We're going to be talking about Haseena's career. We're going to be talking about, immigration stuff. Maybe we get into, maybe talk suits a little bit. I want to know, is it really as glamorous as Harvey Specter and Jessica make it look, I mean, what is it? What is it like?
There's not as much of the dark side in business immigration as there is on Suits.
There you go. So it's not it's not a bunch of crazy, blackmail and stuff like that and stuff that we see. Is it glamorous being a partner in a law firm? I mean, it seems pretty cool.
You know what was interesting? I've been doing this a long time, like close to 30 years. When I started my career, I started in our New York office. It was really the good old days. Some things were really good. Some things were not that good. The glamorous part, like there was no casual Fridays. There was no remote work. It was in the office every day. But you kind of went to work feeling like a lawyer. You had your suit on.
So you dressed up. You dressed the part a little bit.
Absolutely. And it was exciting. I liked it. It made me feel like I had my uniform on and I was ready to go. So, and we worked hard. Back in the day. We still work hard, but everyone would stay. We would have dinner together.
Was it like more around the clock kind of?
It wasn't, actually it was better than it wasn't around the clock because you didn't always have your laptop that you took necessarily everywhere with you. You got to really when you went on vacation, you really got to go on vacation. This was before everyone had a cell phone.
Okay.
So there was a lot of time spent in the office because that's where everyone was. But when you were able to disconnect, you really disconnected.
So if you weren't at your desk, you couldn't really.
You couldn't really do much. So sometimes it meant going into the office on the weekends to get some stuff done. And eventually, even over those first 5 years that I spent in New York, that changed a lot. But back in the day, you used to send something from the office to your personal email, and that was okay.
That was
okay.
No
one knew that was not
you weren't going to end up in front of Congress or something, like having to testify about it.
But I definitely felt like a New York lawyer, and it felt good.
Yeah, that's super cool. My mom worked in New York, back in the day and stuff too, and I remember going to visit her offices and things were different. Get in the comments, y'all. I want to hear from you. How are things different from when you started your career? How has the workplace changed? I'm really kind of curious about this. Get in the comments, y'all. Jillian's checking in, saying welcome, Haseena. Glad to have you. Hit that like button, y'all. Sharina, welcome to Glomo, Haseena. A super producer, Sharina, doing a great job for us. Karen there. What's up, Karen? I see you there. Let's see here. You got that? Did that work here? All right, here we go. Karen says, I remember those days. Yeah. You know what I remembered visiting my mom? She worked downtown Manhattan. People smoked in the office. Like they really smoked.
I don't know that anyone smoked in our office, but we had this beautiful building in Midtown Manhattan, and the partner's office had a terrace.
Okay.
And so on Thursday afternoons, maybe on Friday afternoons, occasionally when the weather was nice, it'd be a little happy hour out there, and there was definitely not just drinking, but the smoking.
Isn't it funny how taboo, smoking is now?
Yeah.
And people, and my mom was like, yeah, if we were going to get on a phone call, we'd light a cigarette and call somebody on the phone. And I just, I remember there being ashtrays on people's desks, and it was just a part of life. And I remember, and I didn't make the connection, but the walls were like yellow from it. And it was like, it's just bonkers to think back in the day.
But people vape now, right?
Oh,
Vaping's like a thing, so you just don't have to necessarily always go outside to do it.
And then what about like the amount of paper? Is there still the amount of paper?
Oh my gosh, no. And COVID kind of expedited our paperless process. It was good for a few things, and that was one of them. So we definitely have a lot less paper. And your eyes and your brain kind of think differently when you're used to doing something a different way. Now you need like 3 screens, right? We only had 1 screen back in the day. But so, your brain just thinks differently about it. It's funny if you have kids who are in school and you see what they do on their laptops versus even how I use my laptop, the same program, what they do without a mouse, without another screen, and it's you just get used to it, I think. But
Yeah.
I do miss those days in the sense that I worked more in the office, but I also got to go to these like glamorous midtown Manhattan lunches and go out after work with my colleagues for drinks and that kind of community. You know, people are like ready to go home at the end of the day when they do come to the
I agree with that. I mean, our culture is such that we get together after work, occasionally, but it felt like it was a lot more of a thing back in the day. I mean, is that missing from the workplace? I mean, what are your thoughts on the impact that has to culture?
Yeah, I mean, I think each business has its own vibe. I think for Fragomen, we're really committed to hybrid and that time in the office. Like you really have to be very deliberate about it. So it's not just a certain amount of time where your body's in the office. It's what's your team doing? When's your team there? And doing those team building activities together, which I do think take place more during the day than at night. That's what people seem to like, but you just have to be really deliberate about it. But I think it's important, especially as the work we do is so kind of tough sometimes.
And now team building is like, oh, we're going to go to an escape room, or we're going to a ropes course, or we got some sort of I remember I hired a balloon artist to come in and teach us how to do balloon It used to just be you'd have a bunch of martinis, okay, and you just figure it out, okay. And now we have to come up with arts and crafts. I feel like I don't know when I became an old man, okay, but I just can't we just have a few martinis and just hug it out. I don't know. Sharina says, Haseena, Ben, what are your favorite team building activities? Any fun stories? What a great question.
Oh,
Favorite team
gosh.
building activity?
So I work in Addison, and Addison does a really great job. The town of Addison does a really great job with what they call a corporate field day. So
Okay.
Addison has a ton of restaurants. It has a ton of businesses. I don't think it has like a really dense residential population, but they do a really fun corporate field day, and you do things like you used to do back in school in field day, like the three-legged race and things like that.
Oh my gosh.
And it's so much fun. It's so much fun. It takes half a day. They do it really well, and you kind of show up in your gym clothes and have a lot of fun.
And do you compete against other companies in the area?
Yeah,
Oh,
and like
okay.
the Addison Fire Department, and so it's a
I
good
feel
way
like the
to know
Addison
your.
Fire Department would always win the three-legged
Yes,
race.
they're fierce. They
Yeah.
win all kinds of things.
I
They're
feel like there
fierce.
should be categories like professional services, fire and police. Like those should not be in
Yeah.
the same. You should have the lawyers competing
You know,
against the firefighters in the tug of war.
Sometimes people who are lawyers and are really good at immigration they have a dark side to them that comes out during Addison Corporate Field Day. You never know. You
All
never
right.
know.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Sharina, great question. Favorite team building activities? Get in the comments, y'all. I want to know, what is your favorite team building activities, or did you do one that was particularly memorable? Sharina, my favorite was going to the Netflix house. Well, we're not even going to. Okay, listen, you know what? The reason it's Sharina's favorite team building activity is because the Netflix house, have you been to the Netflix
I
house yet?
haven't been in it, but I've heard about it, and I drive by it every day.
All right, get in the comments, y'all. Put a link to the Netflix house in there too, Sharina, if you would. So you go there, and it's basically like I don't want to say theme park's a strong word. It's like Dave and Buster's meets Netflix. Okay, so you have the Bridgerton theme, you have Stranger Things, you have Squid Games, whatever. And then you have, games up top, you have a food court, with a bar. And then there's also these experiences down below where you can go in and they have like a Squid Games. I don't know if you've seen Squid Games. It's a, Korean show, right? Where it's a game show about people who have gambling debts, and then therefore it's fictionalized, but and then they do these, it's almost like Hunger Games, where basically
Yeah.
like it's a fight, it's like a game
That's
to
not
the
my
death
kind of
thing.
entertainment.
Okay, right. Well, so you do these games, and it's these odd little like kind of children's games, and in theory you're doing them for your life, right? So it's a little, whoa, it's a little heavy,
No pressure.
right? So I come in there, I play to win. Okay, I don't know if you know this about me, Haseena, but I play to win. All right, I come in there, I'm scoping everything out, I'm finding the angles, and Sharina, I think I did pretty well. Did pretty well, yeah. I was in the lead, first place from the first event through the like I don't know, there's like 5 events. I'm in first place.
I feel like I can tell what's going to happen.
Sharina's
here.
in second to last place going into the final showdown. And the final thing is we go into this room and it's like a dinner party. And all the people that were competing are sitting there with a plate. Okay. And I'm at the top. All right. And because I'm in first place, and then they get to open their thing and they get a number and they come up, and then there's this huge jack in the box and they get to crank it a certain amount of
Sounds
times
scary.
based on how many numbers and if it pops open on you, then you lose and the other person wins the challenge. So basically everything I had done up to that point doesn't matter anymore because everyone basically gets a lottery ticket to beat me. Long story short, Sharina comes up and the jack in the box pops on me and she wins the whole thing.
Congratulations. So this is supposed to be team building, but I'm sensing a little resentment here.
A lot of resentment. Okay. This thing backfired big on me. Okay. Yeah, it was real fun. Yeah, real fun. No, it was great. It was a lot of fun. Anyway, it's a slightly flawed premise. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Congratulations. Well played. Well played. Anyway, that was a lot of fun team building. Yeah, but I like going out with people. You know, I also find that time spent after work, you know, whether you're having a couple drinks or going to dinner or whatever, you kind of workshop problems and you kind of get a little bit more creative, I think.
I feel like you also get to just sometimes you see other sides of people. You kind of appreciate them more the more you spend time with them.
That's so true.
Especially if you're like, I feel like many lawyers, including me, are pretty linear. Like you see a problem and you're like, how do I get this solved correctly as quickly as possible?
Yep.
And not everyone thinks the same way. So I feel like I have a better appreciation of people. You learn about their families. You learn about what they like to do. You learn about like a career they had before they got into immigration. And I don't know, you see them in a different light. So it's always super helpful.
I want to talk to you about the career you got into before immigration. And I'm going to ask you first, did you always want to be an immigration attorney or was there something else for?
So
Haseena?
I think many people, when I got into immigration law, I did not even know there was a thing called immigration law. So I'm a child of immigrants, and I had 3 career choices, doctor, lawyer, or engineer. I was of the generation where I didn't really think to question that. So
I mean, these aren't bad choices, to be honest
these are
with you.
good choices. But if that wasn't like my
Yeah.
jam, then 30 years later, that
It's
would have
your
been kind
jam.
of sad. But my brother's an engineer, my sister's a doctor, and I'm a lawyer. So like the whole process of going to law school, that was kind of like, I saw that as my future. I didn't really question it. But after I got out of law school, I was like, oh, I don't really have too many actual skills. So the plan was to go to a law firm for a couple of years and kind of see how it was, kind of build my resume a little bit. And I knew about refugee law. That's kind of when I pictured myself in the future, I saw myself like being a diplomat or working in human rights. And so this seemed adjacent enough that it was a good place. And I landed at a great firm and I was like, okay, I'm going to try and stick this out for 2 years if I can. And then I just loved it. I loved working with people. I loved a lot of what we do as immigration lawyers is you really understand someone's job. And for certain types of cases, you really understand what makes them really good at their job. And at New York, now I deal a lot with engineers and kind of sciencey people. But back in the day, I worked with some museums in New York with artists. And it just was really musicians, like very famous musicians. And it was just really cool. I liked what I did. I felt like super accomplished. And I liked going to work in my suit.
Yeah. Felt
and
official.
It felt good.
Are there any musicians that you can tell us about, or is that all
No.
is that all privileged?
It's all privileged,
Oh, man.
but it was really fun.
Okay. All right, very cool. So you knew you were going to be a lawyer, but at what point did you kind of find immigration? Like, was it just the first firm that you happened to kind of get hired by? I mean, that's kind of what it was for me in this business.
It wasn't quite that. I felt like I had a couple of friends who I had met in internships and other opportunities, and they're like, "You should try this immigration thing. It's really you feel good about your work.
Right.
You work with nice people. A lot of lawyers have to bill like in 15-minute increments. That you don't really do that in immigration law, and so I kind of had an idea that that's what I wanted to do, but I didn't really feel a passion for it. I would say at first, and then it really grew on me.
And it grew on you. And I think that's so interesting what you're talking about, and the fact that it grew on you. I think sometimes we have this idea that we're supposed to follow our passion. And I think in a lot of cases we find it. We do something and we do it long enough and then we get good at it and we find the purpose in it. It's not always readily apparent.
I think that's right, and I think the passion for me, the passion comes from the work, but it doesn't just come from the work. So I feel like I like the people I work with. I really work in a really dynamic and international people from all over. I like that. And so that to me is something to feel passionate about, even though it's not directly related to immigration law. I like the people I work with. I like the possibility of mentoring people. I like the possibility of learning new things. And so I like the stability of my job. Like when I think that I could have had a career moving around every 2 to 3 years, different location, like that doesn't sound as cool to me now as it did back in the day.
Okay. I need a power cord for my computer's going to run out of juice imminently. So I don't know where it went. I had it over here somewhere. There it is. Sharina's on it. She's on the case. Got it? You're going to have to get it. She's on it, I think. Anyway. Yeah. Yeah. So you didn't start here in Dallas, so you started in New York.
I started in New York, and I was in New York for 5 years. I loved it. And then I had the opportunity to move. Someone I had worked with in New York had previously gone to our DC office. He was running the office, and he got a new opportunity within the firm. So he recommended me for DC, which was really exciting. Actually, it was a little slower vibe in DC.
Yeah.
But I think I was ready for that after 5 years in New York. I ended up meeting my husband in DC, so that was really nice. And we were there for 3 years, and then we had the opportunity to come to Dallas, which was a place I had never been before.
Was he also an attorney?
Yes, he was an attorney at the same firm.
Oh, wow. Now,
That's another reason to be an immigration attorney, because you didn't get fired.
I also worked with my wife early in our career, and I think it was really good. Well, it was good for a while, and then like we got really competitive. I don't know why, but we just did. We got really competitive. But then she went to work somewhere else, and it was great. But did you always work together?
We always worked together from the time, that was a really long time ago, 2002, until he retired a couple years ago.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's makes you kind of on your best behavior.
Yeah.
At work and at home. Like you just kind of have to figure it out and work through it.
Well, and I agree with you 100%. And I also would say like it made me want to be the best professional, right? And that's what I kind of meant by competitive. Like it made me want to get ahead and advance, and so it kind of propelled me forward. And you know what else? I mean, going back to something we were talking about before, it's like I felt like it made people like me more. Because like I'm a kind of an acquired taste kind of person. Sure, you're not supposed to agree with that, okay? No, but like when they met my wife, they're like, "Oh, he's not so bad. She's wonderful. If she likes him, he must be fine."
That's funny that you think that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure people call it your better half for a reason, right? Everyone has a better half, but it's funny that you.
Is it just me that they say that about? Am I the only one that's a better half? Is it everyone's other?
My husband is definitely my better half.
Yeah.
So.
That's cool. I did want to ask you though, if you weren't a immigration attorney, what would you be doing?
So it's funny to think about it because I feel like when you're making career choices, like you're pretty young. Like my
Yeah, you
daughter's
don't know
going through the
anything.
college, again, looking to see, she's a junior in high school, what future she will
Does she
have.
have 3 options?
She has all the options,
All the
but there
options.
are drawbacks with having all the options too. And you got to try to figure it out. When I look back on my life, I think I might have liked to be like specialize in genetics because I think it's super cool,
Yeah.
and objective, but doesn't require you to like be a doctor and do kind of messy things that I never ever wanted to do when I was growing up. Or a sociologist. Like I just think studying different cultures, and I think that's one of the things I love about my job, just understanding, getting to understand people from different places in the world and what
Right.
priorities they have and what their lives are like, and um, so one of those two things.
I loved my sociology class in college. I still think about some of the concepts like that I was taught. One of which I is like the looking glass self, I think it was called, and it's like we see ourselves the way other people see us through, or we see ourselves through the eyes or the
Yes.
lens of the way other people see us, or the way that they kind of react to us. So when I say something, and then Sharina like, oh, I don't think so. Then I'm like, oh no, am I wrong? And
We doubt, right?
yeah,
You could doubt or you could feel fabulous, but you know, anyway, I think those are things that I would have liked to study. And um, being an immigration lawyer and being a parent, I still have two kids at home. Doesn't allow time for kind of researching or looking into those things, but I feel like there might be some life after full time immigration practice that
yeah.
give me an
Um,
opportunity.
you've kind of ascended kind of to the top of your profession, and I think that's like really awesome. And one of the coolest parts about getting to do this show is getting to talk to folks who have kind of really kind of made it to a level that a lot of folks aspire to get to. And I'm kind of curious, like, what do you think helped you get to that level and become a partner in a firm that's so admired, I guess, really, is Fragomen.
Oh, well, that's great. And I feel like I arrived because here I am on Love and Relo, right?
Now
That's
you can
pretty
really retire
exciting.
and go be a geneticist, a part-time amateur geneticist.
Um, I feel like everyone's got their own secret to success to the degree that I have one. I feel like it's working hard, kind of playing the long game, um, always working hard and kind of knowing the ins and outs of what you're doing and putting in the time. Um, it's I feel like it's in some ways harder to do now because there seems to be no end to the amount of time you can put into something, but that is not the secret to happiness. Also, I don't even think it's the secret to career success.
Yeah,
Um, but I think also um, learning how to be, we do two things. We obviously work with clients. And so understanding, kind of being empathetic with foreign nationals and understanding your the company that you're working for, really being able to put yourselves in their shoes, understand their priorities. That to me is the big success for for client relationships, maintaining client relationships, which is a huge part. And then there's a whole bunch of grunt work behind the scenes, right? You got to work on the billing, you got to deal with the HR stuff. We're in
yeah,
the process of looking for a new place to have our office, and so there's all that stuff. And I feel like that multitasking is like whatever career you're in, it's a good skill set to have.
yeah. You kind of mentioned like putting in the time, like literal time and hours. Is that is that as important as it always was, or has that changed in your opinion?
I think it's really important. I think it's important, but I think that the benefit of life in 2026 is that there's more flexibility. And so I think how you put in the time, we were talking about, oh, you showed up at your office in Midtown Manhattan and you took the
Mhm.
subway every day and
Oh
you
my
put on
God.
your suit every day and you did this from this hour to this hour, and then you went home or you went out for a cocktail with Ben. Um, but I think now people have more flexibility and they have more ways to choose how they spend their time. Um, but I think being rigid about the time commitment is not always I understand the desire to kind of protect your time, to protect your personal life, but I think the rigidity, like you have to take advantage of the flexibility that you have.
Yeah. Yeah. And being able to kind of like provide that flexibility maybe to your people a little bit. Yeah. It's kind of interesting because now we have all these tools that save us time and yet we seem busier than ever.
Yes,
And it's
for
kind of
sure.
weird, right? Like we should have all this free time and maybe we do. We just fill it with like Instagram. I don't know. Like we just fill it with like, 8 hours a day of screen time, It's like time is a weird thing nowadays.
I feel like it's important for senior people to kind of share their time off stories, right? Like how they spend their weekends, what they do with their kids, where they go on vacation, so that people can learn that it's possible,
Yeah.
right? That it's possible to juggle and balance and do and be a parent or be take care of your parents or whatever it is that you're juggling, that you can do those things and feel good about that as well as your work.
Yeah.
Sharing the
Yeah.
stories.
I want to kind of talk, speaking of time off, but also speaking just kind of travel and everything, kind of coming out of COVID, or maybe COVID did this, kind of created this real push towards digital nomadism and this idea that we can work from anywhere. So why not, work everywhere and all the things. And that presents like some problems, obviously, or at least we think it does in our industry. Maybe it's one of those things like if what you don't know can't hurt you, and people are just
Until
out
it
there
bites you.
until it bites you, right? Yeah, like I mean, what are you seeing right now? What's the status of like that concept nowadays? I mean, at one point we had CEOs of, I think it was CEO of Airbnb that posted, hey, with us you can work, you can work anywhere, and it's like, I mean, maybe I don't know. What are your thoughts on where this is at right now?
So, I mean, I think it's still very fluid, right? I think we went to one extreme right after COVID, and some countries are embracing that. They get a lot of benefits from a financial point of view with regard to having digital nomads there. But we have also seen, and so I think there are times when I imagine my life back in the day, had I had an opportunity like that, and where would I have gone? What would my path around the world
I'm gonna
look
ask
like?
you. I'm gonna ask you, and I'm gonna put it in the comments right now. I want to know from you, if you're watching right now, where would you work if you could be a digital nomad? Let's pretend your immigration status, wasn't an issue, or you had a visa anywhere in the world. Where would you work from? Where would you be a digital nomad, or would you? Are you even about that life? Let me know in the comments here. Haseena, where would you be a digital nomad?
So I think my first stop would be Spain,
Oh,
right? You got a little urban, you got beautiful culture. You want to go to the beach, you got the beach. You want to go to an amazing museum, you've got that. You've got different areas within Spain. So I think my first stop would be Spain.
where in Spain? Like,
So Barcelona, I think, has had their full of tourists, probably even
yeah,
digital nomads. But I would start in
a little
Barcelona.
hostile.
Yeah, maybe go to Madrid, then go to the beach after that. Yeah,
Lovely.
yeah. I mean, it sounds amazing. But you also see many businesses pulling people back to the office, at least to a certain degree, especially law firms, but tech companies too. They're even in Dallas 5 days a week in the office. Not
I've noticed
unusual.
the traffic is really picked up.
Yes. Yeah. So
I want it
think
for our
there's something.
industry, but I'm also like, hey, can we coordinate when we come in the office? Sharina, would you be a digital nomad? Where would you nomad? Singapore or Japan? She had
good
that one
call.
ready.
Yeah.
Singapore or Japan? Get in the comments, y'all. Let us know, where would you nomad? Let's see. Tamara Holt says Playa Mujeres, Mexico. Very specific.
Excellent.
I love it. I love being in the office with people, and I don't know if I would be effective. Like, oh man, where
But
would
what
I
if
be?
you could do it like a month a year?
A month, a year? Yeah, like I go to Captiva with my family during the
Oh,
summertime.
beautiful.
Yeah. I go there with my family, and I sometimes want to check in a little bit, and I find myself working at the kitchen table a little bit, and I don't know if that's the point of this, but I also feel like a lot of places, like my time zone would be so jacked up that unless I did like a batched work where it's like, okay, I'm an engineer, I'm going to do this code and I'm going to, submit it. And then somebody else is going to do their piece and I'm going to get my piece and I'm going to work on it again. Like, I feel like it really lends itself to different types of work, if that makes sense.
Yes. You put in your time, you can put it in whenever you want, and then you're off duty.
Like asynchronous work and synchronous work is like, I think we really need to be cognizant of what type of work are you doing? How interdependent is that with other people? When do they work? I think that's important. I have a theory about this whole remote work thing. Okay, can I run this by you here?
Absolutely.
The people that need to work in the office most are the ones making the policy, and it's the bosses.
I agree with that.
The bosses are not. The bosses can't boss if they're not with the people.
Yeah.
But the people are like, leave me alone. I want to get some work done here, right? And I'm like, yeah, but I gotta tell you what to do. Don't you need me? Don't you need my help? I gotta give you the vision. I gotta give you the inspiration. I gotta give you the oversight.
I like to have, I think especially new employees to the business, new employees to the job. They really need to benefit from the insights of other people, whether that's the boss or whether that's their manager. I think for new employees, there's definitely an advantage for being in the office, but not alone, right?
Yes.
So
not by yourself, right? Yeah, because that'll happen too.
Yeah, and then once you develop those connections and things like that, then you're going to be a little bit more comfortable reaching out to the boss and saying, "What do I do about this?" Or "What do I do?"
Yeah. So it's like the new folks are coming in, the leader is coming in, the folks that are kind of seasoned have this maybe hybrid thing going on. Like, I feel like maybe that's kind of the
And
mix.
we have a lot of employees, not a lot, but we have some key employees who decided to move away, typically like right in the early days of COVID. And when they were trained in the office, they knew what they were doing. They know how the team works. They worked out great.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
really interesting. Get in the comments, y'all. If you got questions for Haseena, we'll take some questions as well. If you want to get in the comments about the remote work and the digital nomadism as well, we can do that too. We got a question for you. Mohammed says, has your work changed how you see immigrants or the system?
Has my work changed how I see immigrants or the system? I mean, I'm the child of immigrants. I grew up around immigrants and children of immigrants. I grew up in a small town in upstate New York where actually at the time maybe my family was among the few immigrants. But I feel like I've lived a very international life. So I don't know that my view has changed. I think I think the value of immigrants and the cool types of work that a lot of immigrants do in the United States, I think that has certainly, like, my knowledge of that has expanded. And, whether you work with someone who works in the medical field or, I worked had a telecom client. And if you look at your phone and you see that the biggest challenge they were trying to solve is how to make the battery hold a lot more power but take up a little less real estate in the phone, right? Which makes a big difference to everyone.
Sure.
And so kind of seeing what people work on, what gets them excited, and how that really benefits the U.S., I think I have a deeper appreciation of that. But you also realize, all these immigrants are hardworking, but they also just want to take care of their families and have stability for their kids and, have stability for themselves. And I think I just appreciate that a little bit more.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that comes through for me is that we all kind of want the same stuff. We all just want to have a better life for ourselves and our families. And some of us just happen to be born in different places. The opportunity sits in a few places in this world, it seems like, or it's highly concentrated in a few places. Yet people are born all over.
Yeah.
And I got lucky to be born here.
Yeah. And I do think that, as the U.S. maybe becomes a little less immigrant friendly. There are other places in the world, even Canada to the north, other places in the world that are using this opportunity to say, who do we want to be? Who do we want to attract? What do we need here? Not just like next year, but like in 5 or 10 years. So maybe there'll be more opportunities for people in different parts of the world.
Yeah, it is interesting because then practical questions also arise. I remember when Canada was dealing with this law prohibiting the purchase of a home,
Yes.
right, by foreign nationals, I think it was. And correct me if I'm wrong. Get in the comments, y'all, if I'm wrong about that. And Sharina will always fact check me, I'm sure. But that was the thing, and I remember Worldwide ERC actually took that up. It was lobbying or working with CERC around that, but that was a practical question. It's like, okay, we want folks here, and now folks are buying houses, and it's raising the cost of living for other people, and there's practical questions to it as well, that even when you're very pro-immigrant or you're taking an official pro-immigrant stance, like, hey, bring all the talent, bring the tax base, bring all the knowledge, bring everything that comes along with it. It's interesting to see the nuance in the arguments.
Yeah, and it's hard for a country, I think, to have a cohesive immigration strategy when immigration is just so political, right? Because it's always there's always going to be factors pulling one way or the other, advocating one way or the other, not necessarily what's best for the country. And obviously, people have different views on what's best for their particular country, but the politics sometimes makes it hard to do the thing that might be the right thing.
Yeah, and what's best for the country, people's usually lens for that is what's best for me as an individual living in this
Yes,
country, right?
yeah.
And it's not really like, they don't really remove that.
And they might not be right about it, right?
Oh,
So it's
yeah.
just, you can have misinformation.
I saw this comedian, and this is, I love comedy. In fact, I'm doing a meetup in LA at the Comedy Store at the end of this month.
That sounds cool.
March 26th. So if you're in the LA area and you're watching this, you are welcome to join us at the Comedy Store on March 26th. We're going to meet up, network a little bit, have some conversations, and then go check out a comedy show, because why not? But there was this comedian, and he was like, I think he was an immigrant or the son of an immigrant, something like that. And he's like, immigrants be like, let me in, let me in, open the door. I come in, and then they're like, all right, close the door, close the door. And it's just funny to see how it's like, what do I need? What do I want right now? So anyway.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
It's interesting. Sometimes you got to keep a sense of humor in some of this stuff, because otherwise it gets a little heavy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Does the job get kind of stressful? I mean, do you see people kind of, I don't know, burning? I don't know. Do you see burnout in your industry?
Oh, yeah. I think people get really burned out, especially in the last year, 14 months, just because the pace of change has been so rapid, and kind of like a light switch. Something changes tomorrow, changes the next day, and you just like didn't see it coming. The days when you had like 30 or 60 days to get used to a change, those are gone. And so I think people, and the importance of kind of keeping everything top of mind, right? Like not just the basics, but what's this person's country of birth? What's this person's country of citizenship? There's just, where are they traveling to? Do they know not to travel? There's just a lot that could potentially go wrong. And so I think people with, if you just care so much, you have to find a way to disengage, to feel like it's okay, and it's time to disengage and do something else, so that you can kind of refresh. That refresh is really important, and it's hard. It's hard to disengage. That's an
interesting balance, kind of to care enough where you're finding purpose in the work, and you're super engaged, and you're trying really hard and trying everything you can to help your clients and everything, but then at the same time to have a boundary where you don't get so wrapped up in the outcome that you get discouraged, maybe.
Yeah, and if you want longevity in the field, which is, I think, if you're doing something that you love, you want to be able to do it long term, and you it's sort of like the put your oxygen mask on for yourself before you take care of other people on the plane.
Right.
And it's I did not really feel like I was pushed to the wall until the until COVID with regard to like, can I balance all of the things, my work, my employees, my family. I didn't really feel like that until COVID, but then I was like, okay, now I get where that expression comes from, and that at a certain point it's really true. So what do you have to do for yourself um, to feed yourself oxygen and regroup and refresh?
Yeah.
Take care of other things in your life other than your work.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned like with family and stuff. I know the way that I lead changed a lot when I had a family, and it gave me so much more perspective. I was very one dimensional. Things were very black and white and by the book, and I didn't have a lot, maybe as much empathy, probably just because I lack context, to be honest with you. And having that family, helps you understand other people's situation, I think, a little bit more.
Yeah, I certainly found that it was better for me, right?
Yeah.
Being able to go home to whether it's your partner or your family members. Sometimes you can't even think about, like, life at home is so hectic in a good way, hopefully. You can't even think about those things that are going on at the office, and that's important.
Yeah. I want to ask you a question that I've always kind of wondered a little bit about as I've kind of learned more about this immigration space. The paperwork, the sheer volume of paper, the actual paper. We talked a little bit about how much paper there was back in the day, but in some ways, this business seems to be stuck back in the day with paper. What's the deal with paper?
I mean, the government. It's interesting to see. The U.S. government is still their USCIS is experimenting with online, but it's not really efficient, right? It's not like you can assemble something online and upload it to the immigration website and then like move on. So
What's the concern about doing that? I mean, I feel like so much is done online nowadays. We file our taxes.
we file
online.
our taxes
I mean,
online.
that's a big deal.
Yeah. I think if you look at the way the paperwork, what's the words on the paper, how things work, it's a lot of it is fraud driven and compliance driven, and do you really know what you're signing? So I think the government will get there, but when you compare to other countries around the world where everything is online and it's so routine, that for a lot of the world, like our average work permit is a pretty routine thing, right?
Yeah.
Here, there's nothing that's routine. There's nothing that's routine, and you have to mail it in. Spend a lot of money on your FedEx.
Yeah, well, I can't imagine what a FedEx bill must be like for you guys.
But
She's like, no comment on
Yeah.
the FedEx bill. Shout out to FedEx. They don't sponsor our show.
but and I think the paper. We are all taking advantage of technology, right? Technology every day, something new comes up with regard to AI or a tool or something that reduces the paper, which I think really means reducing like the bureaucracy,
Yeah.
right? There are ways that it's getting more efficient, but to be honest, it still really comes down to a lot of the brain power and just putting in hard work by the people who do the casework.
Has there been any innovation in the last few years at all, like that to streamline it?
I think there's been innovation. You may have read articles about, AI and attorneys and not fact checking your sources and things like that. And so I think law firms, we're kind of all old school to begin with, but then you've got data privacy that's really huge, particularly in the immigration and mobility space. Data
Yep.
privacy is huge. And you've got AI isn't perfect and technology isn't perfect. So there are some kind of hindrances on leaning into that. But I think there have been a lot, and just the sharing of information, the sharing of the ability to share, find what you're looking for. I mean, if anyone was a law student back in the early 1990s with me, and you had to go like to the law library and look for the book, and
Did you get
it
the
was like-
microfiche going?
Yeah, I did. And so I think there have been a lot of innovations that make good, reliable information more easily accessible, and that's huge.
Yeah, I do worry a little bit about the AI and the incorrect information, and I did read a story where some lawyer was, I don't know if they were disbarred or what, but they,
Oh yeah,
it was something like that, right? Like,
I think more than one. Yeah,
jeez.
and you go make an argument in front of a judge. You put in your memo, and then the judge's law clerks look and say, "Where's this coming from?
That's not,
There's no basis for
this
this.
is not a real
That's
case.
embarrassing." Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
So
bad news. Oh
so
my gosh.
you gotta. It's another skill set, right? It's exciting to see how it evolves, but it's also something that you have to learn. You have to learn where the guardrails are. So nothing ever gets old.
Do you think we're going to get to, or let me ask you, instead of not do you, when, I'm going to ask you for a number, okay? What year, and your guess, I'm not going to hold you to this, okay? But what year are we going to get to the point where we can file these things online with no paperlessly?
So I would say like a handful of applications right now you could do that and it makes sense. It's 2026. I'm gonna say 2030.
4
2030.
years.
Yeah.
4 years. Okay, we're not going to hold you to it, but that'd be cool.
It would be cool.
Around the corner here.
Yeah, we got to take advantage of the efficiencies where we can get them.
Yeah.
You know, we're still running down at 6 o'clock before FedEx pickup. We're still running down the elevator, down the stairs, trying to get the package in there. Like some of those things we don't need to be doing anymore.
I was talking to, we just had Francisco on the show from CBRE, right?
I love him. He's
Love
the
Francisco.
best.
He's great. Well, he was talking about how he got started in this industry, and he was a courier. He was a courier. He was hanging out with the other couriers, like, hey,
Taking the visa applications.
yeah,
to the
they're hanging
consulate.
out at like the consulate or wherever they're hanging out. I don't know where they hang out, but they're hanging out. And then he like works his way up from the bicycle to like running a big program, and his stories are fantastic. But I mean, are we still in the age of couriers right now in this business?
Document still goes in the passport. The passport's still a physical document with an expiration date, So you still have a hard copy driver's license. And I think some of that, there's reasons for a lot of that, right? We're not at the digital wallet stage yet.
Yeah. Really.
And there's good actors, there's a lot of motivation, but there's also bad actors that can take advantage of some of these things. So it's job security.
I was going to say, I mean, that's why we have a job, right? If it was easy, they wouldn't need us, right? Let me ask you this, one word to describe today's immigration environment.
Unpredictable. That's like the understatement of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, just think of what's going on, like, as we speak. We voted this morning. You and I voted.
I got my little sticker.
So
I got my sticker.
I didn't get my sticker, but I voted, right? And it was calm and peaceful. And then look what's going on in the Middle East, right? And that's an immigration issue too. So
what's the immigration impact of what's going on in the Middle East?
Oh, well, U.S. citizens have been told by the State Department to evacuate. Getting out of there is going to be hard. Airport infrastructure has been impacted. I don't think it's necessarily safe. And, then you've got American citizens and their family members, their children. Like, maybe not everyone is a U.S. citizen. So how do they manage that kind of process? So what if you have been working for a U.S. entity and the place you would normally go back to is in the U.S., but maybe you're a foreign national, you don't have the right visa stamp. The consulates are all closed, right, barring, other than emergency requests for U.S. citizens. And so it's pretty chaotic.
Yeah, I saw that they told everybody to get out of those countries, and I'm also seeing in the same news, it's like nobody's leaving. It's like
they can't. Where do they go?
Yeah, where do you go? I saw somebody in our industry. She said, I'm stuck in Dubai. If anyone knows how to get out of here, please let me know. And by the way, here's a picture of me on a horse right now in the desert.
It's really surreal.
It's
the world is so small and yet crazy, little challenging.
Yeah, for real.
So,
I want to play a game. You want to play a game? Want to have some fun?
Yes.
You don't have a choice. You're stuck. Okay, you got to play. You got to play.
Lawyers like certainty and predictability, so I'm
This is
feeling a little bit
unpredictable, just
vulnerable
like
right
your day
now,
job.
but
Oh, it's
I'll
fine.
I'll go
It'll
with
be
it.
perfectly painless. It's a game we call overrated, underrated.
Okay.
All right. The rules are simple. I will give you a topic, and you will tell me if it is either overrated or underrated.
Okay.
And then I'll tell you if you're correct. All right. She gets the joke. All right. This is great. I love talking to smart people. They get it. All right. It's obviously absurd, but that's okay. It doesn't stop us. All right. Let's go. Overrated, underrated. First one up. Sparkling water.
Underrated. As I
Underrated.
drink my sparkling water as we speak.
That is a brand I have not heard of
It's
before.
it's from Austin, Texas.
And we're looking for new sponsors. Rambler, Love and Relo, sponsored by Rambler. Why do you like sparkling water? I'm a still water guy here.
Okay, so I like sparkling water. I like sparkling water at room temperature with no ice. So I understand
Very
that
particular.
that I am, an underdog here. But it just, I feel like I can drink more of it for some reason, which is good, right? Hydrating.
You can drink more sparkling
know.
with the bubbles than still without the bubbles.
Yeah. And it tastes like a little bit of a treat more than a glass of water.
That I'll give you. Oh, I have been very anti-sparkling for a long time.
The next time I see you, Ben, I'm going to bring you a Rambler.
I'll accept your Rambler. I had sparkling water, I don't know, not too long ago, and I really liked it. I didn't think I would like it. I'm like, what is the point of this? Seems like a waste of time. Seems like a waste of space. A lot of people say that same thing about my show. But
Not this episode.
Not this
of your
episode.
show.
No, this is the sparkling water of shows. Karen Gerber says, I love sparkling water. Yes, Karen. Karen, I'm with you, Karen. I'm going to give you an underrated on that.
All
my
right,
mind has been
phew.
changed. I'm converted. She says, yes, it's a treat. My father-in-law is a sparkling water guy. All right. But you know where I draw the line? When I go to a restaurant and they're like, oh, can we interest you in a bottle of sparkling? And I'm like, nah, it's not bad. That's all
Yes, I hear you.
right. That's all right, buddy.
Yeah.
We're good.
You got to go to the restaurants where they make the sparkling water for you and just offer you the two options with no charge.
With no charge, homemade sparkling water. Karen has a vote for Pellegrino. Yes. Are you a sparkling water person, Sharina? Yeah.
Not yet.
Not
yet.
Not yet. There you go. All right. 1 point for Haseena. All right. Let's go. Next one up. Overrated, underrated. Legal advice on social media.
Very, very, very overrated. I tell foreign nationals all the time, if you ask me about this advice you got on Reddit, I'm going to bill you double the
It's
time.
always Reddit, too, isn't it?
Yes,
What
it
that?
is. There's
I'm
a
gonna
lot at
bill you
stake,
double
people.
time.
There's a lot of at stake, people. Don't get your information off social media. When the rest of it is so easy, reliable information is so much easier to access.
Well, and you know what I see? I see ChatGPT sourcing so much from Reddit. Reddit is so relevant when it comes to the AI, large language models, and it's all user generated. So you can go on there with no legal credentials or anything or any substance, and you can just put misinformation on Reddit and it'll be sourced. Anyway, yeah.
There are a lot of reputable sites out there that will give you good information. So, again, I would just say highly overrated.
What's a better place online to get your?
It depends on what you're looking for, but I would say like a Fragomen has a great website. Other firms have good websites. Believe it or not, the USCIS has a pretty good website in terms of figuring out how to do stuff. There's videos out there how to from reputable sites that if you're not read these 2.5 pages, if that's not your thing, you can watch a video.
Yeah.
But I would say just go to the reputable sites.
Just stay away from Reddit. And the other thing too is the amount that this stuff changes. I mean, Reddit
Yes.
comments can be 16 months old. I mean, that's not valid anymore. Yeah, okay. 2 points. 2 points. All right, she's on the heater here. All right, let's go. Next one up. Overrated, underrated, upstate New York.
Underrated. I grew up in upstate New York. I know you have a close tie to going to school.
I went to
in
SUNY Albany.
upstate-
Go Danes. Go Great
in
Danes.
upstate New York. And I think upstate New York has had a bit of a glow up kind of
Okay.
post
Okay.
during the COVID
Okay.
years.
Okay.
You know, people escaped upstate. They didn't want to be in New York City anymore.
COVID's what it would take to make upstate New York look good. I'll be honest with you. It needed a pandemic to glow up, I think. Sorry.
But you could get to the city, you could get to Boston, you could get
Yes.
to other places really quickly from upstate New York, and it was beautiful, and still is a really beautiful and calm place.
And you were from Hudson originally?
Hudson. I was born in my first few years in New York City, where my parents worked, but then we moved to Hudson probably around the first grade, and I grew up there until I went to college.
And where in New York City were you born?
I was born at Beth Israel Hospital. My parents worked there as doctors. So I think that's like on the Lower East Side.
Lower East Side?
Yeah.
LES. All right. Yeah, upstate New York. Oh, man. People rave about upstate. Every time I'm like, yeah, upstate New York. Oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful country. I'm like, really? Where?
Okay, so I might be losing this one. I'm
I don't know.
afraid.
Listen, I got out. I'll be honest with you. I got out. I was like, because you know what? There wasn't work up there.
Yes.
That's what I struggled with. I'm like, okay, I got this degree. I didn't pay a ton for it, but I paid enough, okay? It wasn't Cornell, all right? But it was SUNY Albany.
I'm going to give props
where's
to
the
the
job?
SUNY system. The same way I would give props to the UT system
Yeah.
and the University of California system. So SUNY system gets 2 thumbs up for me. But
SUNY
fair.
SUNY is definitely I don't know if it's underrated. People don't know about it for sure.
Yeah.
Outside of New York, but yeah, I didn't see the job market there for me, and maybe it's because I was an English major, I don't know. I was like, they don't use it up here. People are getting in here. Was this Adeline says terrible idea. Legal advice shouldn't come from social media. Yeah, for sure. All right, I'm gonna upstate New York. Ooh, yeah.
Let's call it a tie.
A tie.
Oh, yeah.
Tie. Oh, all right, fine. I'll give it to you. You know what? You got it. All right. Next one up. Overrated, underrated. Dallas.
I mean, talk about a glow up. Dallas, I've been here for 20 years. Dallas is definitely feeling the love right now, but I would still say underrated.
Wow.
Not overrated. It's been, I was here on the 5-year plan with my husband. We were definitely like, we don't necessarily see ourselves here. And what a dynamic, energizing city that's still a great place to raise a family, have your family time. Yes, the commutes are longer than they should be, than they used to be.
But compared to New York City, my mom had to commute an hour and a half each way going into Manhattan.
5 days a week,
From
I'm
White
sure
Plains.
she did it.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
She had her pumps in her bag. She called them pumps. She had her pumps in her bag.
She wore her white sneakers.
Yeah, she had her white sneakers on. She had her pumps in her bag. She'd change them when she got to office. Yeah.
Yeah. So, there's everything here. And I felt that way I sort of resisted when I first got here, but, and when new people come, they still love it. And it's easy to get to East Coast, West Coast.
Airport's great.
Great logistics, restaurants, arts, entertainment.
Great industry.
It's great. Business community is very friendly, so I would say still underrated.
I agree with you, and still relatively inexpensive compared to the coasts. Definitely more expensive than it was even when I got here in 2021, 5 years ago. But still underrated. Yes, definitely.
All right.
We got another one? 2 more. All right.
Okay.
Overrated, underrated. Open concept offices.
Overrated.
Overrated.
You still, I'm coming from the law firm, got to be private, confidential.
Could you
I
imagine a
like my
law
people.
firm with an open concept office?
I like my people.
Yeah.
What show were we talking about?
Suits?
Suits. The paralegals were in there. They're open concept.
Yes,
They
they
weren't
were.
giving advice.
They had a bullpen or something
Yes.
for the
Yeah.
paralegals.
And that can be nice, but I need an office.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
that
I'm with you.
flexible,
Open concept. You know, it's interesting. We have all offices here, and we can't get any natural light into the middle, which is the one drawback. But I'm thinking about putting some cubicles in the middle here if we expand and go into some other space that's adjacent. And it's so funny because once you have offices, the idea of open concept is like. Open concept's great if you're going from like, hey, we work at home, we're going to come in and we're going to collaborate. So you're like, oh, we got a place to come, and open concept is great. But if you're in an office now and then you go into an open concept, you're like, you feel naked. You're
yes.
like, whoa, I
Yeah.
need my walls, I need my
Yeah.
door, I need my privacy. I
You might
can't.
need to snack on something.
I need a
or
snack. Or I need to
kick
make a
off your
phone call and
shoes,
kick
and
off.
like you need a
shoes.
little privacy.
Little space. Yeah. All right. All right. Overrated. Last one up.
Oh, I'm so stressed right
Overrated,
now.
underrated. The show Suits.
So I found it binge worthy. I
Yes.
definitely found it binge worthy when
Okay.
I had the time. But now I'm gonna say maybe a little overrated.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good show. I liked it, but
How many seasons did you get into?
I got through 1.5,
1.5.
which isn't that much.
It's not a lot.
How many are there?
There's how many? Sharina's on the case.
Fact check.
No pun intended. I'm guessing there's like 9.
All
There
right.
you go. Listen.
It's a lot of your life that you have to commit to.
Yes, if like past season 5 or 6, and you're like, it's the same format every time. You've seen some of these skits about it, and it's like, they're hilarious. I can't even reenact them, but you know, it's the same format. It's almost like a Law and Order, right? How you
Yeah.
have like the same like problem, solution, conflict, you know, aha moment, you know, and Suits is great though. You know what I think the best benefit of Suits was it got people back into to dressing up a little bit.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, it got people back
Yes.
to the haberdashery a little bit. And I think, you know, if nothing else, that's great.
The problem with these shows that you can binge watch is like back in the day. What was the show you were just mentioning?
Suits.
The other one, the Law and Order.
Oh yeah.
Right? You could like watch it, and then you could skip some episodes, and you come back to it, and like that was
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
It was okay. I feel like with the shows now, you got to watch one at a time. Watch the whole thing. You're either in or out. That's a hard place to be.
That is a really good point. Like if you're watching like some drama, like a Game of Thrones or something where there's like a narrative that goes over
Yeah,
Breaking
not
Bad
just-
or something.
yeah.
You can't just parachute in for an episode like a casual and then pop out.
Yeah. And our family gets really into it. Like if someone watches it, then you're all into it. But then,
You watched it without me.
yeah, you can't watch it without me.
Oh.
That's usually what we get. And then I get the duster. So,
And then you can't watch it
just
for 2
falls
weeks
off
because you're
the-
traveling. And
Correct.
now they're stacking up and there's all this anxiety and animosity. Yeah, I get you. Yeah, Suits is, so did we give it overrated or underrated?
I give it overrated. I'm hoping you're going to agree with me because, you know, I'm competitive too, Ben.
Suits, you know, listen, Suits might be overrated. It might be overrated. It might be overrated. I mean, at this point, you know, I think they're thinking about bringing it back. I think, okay, let it stay where it was. You know, I think you need to get up to at least season 2, season 2, maybe season 3, season 4. But once that thing goes over to USA Network, you got to drop it. Okay, and you'll know when it goes. The production quality just goes way down and everything. But yeah, Suits.
Heard it from an expert.
Yeah, sure. from partner to law firm. Okay, if nothing else. All right, there you go. This is awesome. I've really enjoyed talking to you, Haseena. This has been great. You want to maybe just leave us with a final thought as we prepare to sign off here?
Oh, gosh.
Anything you want to leave us with?
Well, it has been truly my honor to be on Love and Relo. Such a pleasure. And you know, my words of wisdom are: this is a great industry to be a part of. It's people first. Work hard and do good in the world.
Yeah, love it. Sounds great. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you. Wouldn't have a show without you. And we will see y'all next week. Thanks, everybody.